California Governor Gavin Newsom recently announced that California would not fill the gap as promised after federal tax credits for EVs expired at the end of last month. Joining us to discuss is automotive expert with Car Coach Reports, Lauren Fix. Good to have you with us this morning, Lauren. How is this going to impact
Thank you.
people in California who are thinking of buying an EV?
I think it's going to be a problem, especially because Gavin Newsom, who is the governor, is saying that he wants all electric cars by 2030. Of course, he will not be in office at that time, so that's going to make some changes right out of the box. But making promises to consumers who had relied on that $7,500 tax credit, had relied on that charging credit in order to make the car at least more reasonable, didn't turn out as planned. Initially, the plan was to try and get the average person, the middle income earner, to be able to purchase a vehicle. And what ended up happening was the people that were wealthy, who made, four or five other cars, made big money, well over $500,000. Those are the ones that ended up using the tax credit, and it didn't go as planned. So consumers that are lower income certainly could not afford a new car, higher insurance, and the charging infrastructure, because if you're renting, there's no chargers. And so that means you have to use public charging, which isn't enough. So he made a lot of promises, but now he is reneging on all of them.
And I also want to look at, because he's planning to invest the money that he had promised into those chargers, but presumably there will be some lag there if people just stop buying them as much.
It's a wonderful promise. However, there's $68 billion in debt. So if you don't have the money for the infrastructure, nothing's going to change. How would he raise the money? Raise the taxes, which is not good because California is the #1 state people are leaving because it's too expensive to live there. Now, I have a lot of friends that live there. It's not easy to just pick up and go. I live in New York State. I would do the same thing if I could, but you can't. When you have family and business, it's not easy for the average person to do that. So what's going to end up happening is they're going to raise the taxes. That money will go to fill in their general budget, which is way off base. And now they got another problem with the oil refineries, which are starting to close down. And now they're realizing this is a problem because you need fuel. And so now you have a lot of very unhappy people. And this is definitely going to impact the governor's race that's coming up in November.
Tell me more about that.
Well, that's going to be interesting. I don't usually cover politics, but I do cover the transportation side of that. And so it's really important to see that when you make costs too high for any consumer, no matter what, how much you earn, no matter where you are, most of us live paycheck to paycheck. And when you make it more difficult for people by raising the cost of fuel, and if you look at fuel costs by using something like Gas Buddy, you'll see that the average cost of fuel is under $3 a gallon in the entire country, except for California, where I was literally just there last week, and it was $4 a gallon. So when you raise the prices $1 a gallon more, plus the cost of living is higher, and now they're going to start raising electric bills for those who have EVs to be based off your income. So the more you make, the higher your electric bill is definitely going to discourage people. And another factor that's really interesting is when you purchase an electric car in California, and this was true in other states, and this is now officially gone, so you know in advance, that if you purchased an electric car, you got access to the HOV lanes. Well, they took that away. And so now you got a lot of very unhappy people who purchased early buyers of Teslas and all kinds of electric plug-in cars, Lucids, Rivians, Hyundais, whatever it might be. That's now gone. So now the access to the HOV lane to avoid traffic and get to your destination quicker, that's now gone. The only exception is this morning, I just found out that Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York State, has now added it back in for Long Island, which is, if you live out there, you've been out there, Long Island's really busy. There's a lot of people on that island. And when you open those HOV lanes to electric cars, it angers the rest of the people. And that will impact the governor's race that's also coming up in New York State. And I think Kathy Hochul won't be happy about that. She may be changing her mind.
And let's look now at the impact on dealers and automakers.
Well, big change. All the car makers are realizing, and they knew in advance, they were taking advantage of the government subsidies. Now those subsidies are gone. We're seeing much more aggressive discounts on electric cars. So if you're thinking of an electric vehicle, there's some fabulous choices out there. And there's great deals because they need to get rid of those vehicles off the lot before any 2026s come in. So we're seeing discounts as high as $10,000 off the price of a car. I don't think in my lifetime being in this business almost 40 years have I ever seen a $10,000 discount on a car. So if you're thinking about, you know what, I wouldn't mind buying a Hyundai Ioniq 5 or a Ford Lightning truck. Now's your chance because that sale's not going to last forever. And the discount is to get people to purchase the cars. Ford is even offering a charging station that you can put it'd be a level 2 for your home. Just keep one thing in mind, that if you do purchase an electric car and you do put a charger in your home, please tell your insurance company that you have installed that, because otherwise you won't be covered in your garage, which could be as much as 20% of the cost of your home. There's been a few incidences around the country. I always remind people, if you purchase an electric car and you put a charging station in, let the insurance company know, because in the eyes of the insurance company, it's the same as putting on a bathroom in a bedroom. That's great, but it also changes the value of your home, and it also puts the risk at a higher level. So please do that. And if you think I'm kidding, there's already at least a half a dozen just in New York State that I'm aware of lawsuits against insurance companies who will not pay out that money. So if you don't tell them, that falls on you.
And just lastly, Lauren, California tends to lead the way of many other states around the nation, especially in the auto industry. Do you sense anything further coming for folks across the country in regards to this latest change in California?
Oh, there's a lot of lawsuits going on. We had the Congressional Review Act, which took away the powers of California, and there's also other lawsuits that are going to the Supreme Court. We're waiting, and I am watching, and I will be reporting on that at Car Coach Reports. They're trying to take away the power of the California Air Resources Board, which currently is one state giving the rules for the other 49. It not just upsets the states, it upsets consumers. Why should California tell someone who lives in Arkansas, Oklahoma, or South Dakota what you should be driving? That's about to go out the window because it is illegal. It's unconstitutional. We're talking like convention of states. This is a much bigger thing, but I'll be monitoring on it, and I'll try and give you a more concise report as soon as we see some legal action happen.
And we look forward to that. Just one more question, Lauren. Any advice for people out
Yeah.
there? You've mentioned get in on that EV purchase if you are in California and you're seeing those discounts. But for anyone across the country, with this latest change, any advice just to finish up with?
Sure, there's a lot of good deals on cars right now. Car sales are still off from what they were, not just on electric vehicles, but on all vehicles. They want to get rid of, today is actually a really good, at the end of the month, end of October, you're going to see some fabulous deals. You're going to want to get rid of all those 2025s that are sitting on the lot. We're currently driving only 2026 models, and we're starting to see 2027 models. So that means anything that's a 25 or a 24 that's sitting on any lot of any brand, there's a deal to be had. So if you've been waiting and thinking, I'm just waiting for interest rates to drop, hopefully they'll drop before the end of the year. But right now, at the end of the month, is your best time to make a great deal.
Thank you so much. Lauren Fix, as always, great to speak with you.
Thank you.
If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this, and check out our car review channel, Car Smarts. You can support me by buying me a cup of coffee, and if you want even more content, check out the links in the description. I'm Lauren Fix. Thank you so much for watching.